Is this thing on? Dang, the music ended way too quick. I didn't finish sharing it out, so I guess we'll hit you with the one. And then tonight we don't have a Dan 2. But luckily, we do have our special guest back on the show. Thank you very much, folks. Welcome back to the Truthercast. It's home of the... Hey, Trump, that's my bit, bro. Like, don't take my bit. Sorry about that, Scott. I'm just so excited to be back on the Truthercast. Not because only, it's a great show. I've heard it's the best show for finding truth tidbits that are off the beaten path. But I also like to take a break from bombing Iran. Yeah, I feel you, brother. I bet, man, that's got to get tiring. So, yeah, we'll get to that in just a few here. But, we're going to let people trickle on in here to the Rumble Arena, into the chat. Let me know if the video and the microphones are working. Mr. Audio Vent with the first chat. Welcome in, brother. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. Wilkinson's going to be sad that she didn't act fast. She's queen #1 chat around here. But what is up with you, brother? What have you seen from last week that's interesting to ya? It was another slow summer week, in my opinion, but I got a few low key bangers and a few high key bangers to go over here for the week. Oh, I can't wait until Wilkinson shows up to the chat. She's gonna be salty you popped in quick. That's gonna be funny. But Mr. Audio Vent wins first chatter of the week. I gotta start getting some Truthercast merch, and then I can throw that around for first chatter of the week rewards or something, and give people stickers and shirts or something. That'd be fun. Fake McConnell, yeah. Dude, the freaking people, right? It's like the poor guy just died, but things are still funny, I guess, right? They're making AIs, because all of a sudden, they're posting videos of proof of life or whatever. But it's oh man, all of a sudden, people are making AIs of him, jumping out the hospital bed and doing a jig and everything. Wilkinsane made it into the Rumble Arena here in the live chat. Welcome in, Wilkinsane. Trump wanted me to apologize to you that, you know, Mr. Audio Vent beat you to the... We're very, very sorry, Wilkinsane. We do thank you for coming back to the Truther Cast. Dan couldn't make it. He was very busy. He had an important endeavor to get to. He's working hard, definitely not hardly working, because that's what I do. It's all about hard work and never be hardly working, because... then you die like Mitch McConnell. Whoa, Trump, too soon? Damn, too soon? You know, like, what are you saying? He didn't do a lot of work? Well, I mean, he maybe could have did more work. You know, he did some work, but maybe not enough work. People tell me, I don't know. Damn, okay, man. Well, you know, there's a hot take for you. Trump says, you know, Mitch McConnell just kind of stopped working and time caught up with him there, I guess. What does everybody think? One of the topics, you know, is definitely what, like, we can jump right into it here. Soonly, I was just trying to share this damn show out. I was experiencing some technical difficulties, and due to that, the Bloginator was sick. Bloginator failed, so we don't have the receipts link in the description box down below. All I'm trying to do here, it's hard to keep talking and trying to share a show. So you guys, you know, like Dan usually mentions it, but you guys, you got to remember the free way to help out around here is to hit the like button and then share the show so you're not a hoe. That's the key way. That is the key way to do it. Alrighty, almost done here. And make sure to share it to any groups you might be in that are into this kind of stuff. I've been getting some pretty good action in these Trump in America groups, you know. But what's really funny is I can't tell if some of the groups are like fake, so they on purpose let you know, liberal trolls come in. Okay, yeah, I pulled back the gate on the microphone a lot last time, so it should be good. Am I coming in okay in the microphone chat? Cool. Wilkinsane was working hard today. I'm sure Audio Vent was working hard on the computers today. Most deaf. Did anybody see the new drop from Nick Shirley? We're going to be going through that one in a few here. Hopefully it goes super mega viral like his Somali coverage. Okay, I've shared it enough. It is time to welcome you back to the Truther Cast, the home of the Truther Cast. Today, just me, well, I guess, and Daddy Trump here, right? You know? I'm here too, Scott. Don't forget about me. How could you actually forget about me? I'm so damn tall. I know, man. I gotta like look up to you all the time. But we are here to bring your truth order. So hopefully anybody in the live chat has an order for me today of some truth to go over on the show if I am missing it. Because if you're not familiar with the show, I am attempting to not just be another dude out there bitching and moaning and leaving you with a black pill taste in your mouth kind of show. I'm attempting to, you know, bring you a little bit of hopium, you know, as the thingy says down here, you know, somewhere. It's right here, right? And you can get weekly hopium by subscribing to this show so you get notified. But also you can check out the links in the description box down below, like today's sponsor, me, Scott, your tech guy, as always. But check out the description box. Got some good link nuggets. Later on tonight, I'll fix the Bloginator, and that will also have the receipts of the show, because every show, I make sure to have a blog page on the website with everything that I'm going to go through, you know, throughout this episode, so you can watch it more, just like the Nick Shirley one, because it's like an hour long. So I'm going to, you know, give you the highlights and try to get you interested to go give him the views. But I'll have that blog post up here later tonight. So if you're watching this back, it should be live already. But then you can pull it up, watch more of the stuff I'm covering on your own, and give them the views, because that's how they get more coverage and more exposure and make some monies, right? And we are trying to help out all these other independent, these citizen journalists, and trying to spread the good word here, man, because, we like here at Truthercast finding things that are like off the mainstream beaten path, something that might not pop up in your mainstream feed. And if you are surprised of how I found all of this stuff, the answer is just building a better news feed, man. So subscribe on X, follow me at Mastache, 3 S's in a row, 4 in the whole word, links on the website, but follow me there and check out who I'm following and start building yourself a better news feed. I got a page on the website for following people on, what YouTube, Rumble, X, whichever your platform of choice is. But building a better news feed is most definitely the big answer. This fan is going to bother me. Okay, maybe the fan won't bother me now. Okay, audios is a good, much appreciated. Oh, Mr. Dan Soar in the chat. Boo, 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 boo. What up, Mr. Dan? Thanks for stopping by. At least Mr. Dan can chime in to the live chat and listen along as he works his booty off for the remainder of the evening. God bless you, sir. Hope your last week was good. We miss you, and hopefully you're back in the studio next week, my man. But we can go ahead and get into it. I don't know what y'all think. We definitely think it's funnier when it's broken, so I gotta fix it real quick. It's always funny when it's broken, Scott, but it's not funny when things of mine are broken. Then it's a liberal ordeal on CNN, you know what I mean? Right, bro, yeah, I feel you on that, dog. That would suck to be that popular, right? Like you fart and like the whole world melts down like Jiminy Crickets. But lack of a better topic, the biggest news piece probably so far over the weekend at minimum, like fresh on the press here, from last week would be good old Lindsey Graham passing away. Now, Lindsey Graham was not my favorite. He was pretty warmongery. And I support I'm so freaking biased on Trump. It's ridiculous. I support the war efforts that Trump's been doing, term 1, term 2, but I've never been a big, deep state military industrial complex warmonger kind of person. Life's complicated, right? And the older I get and the more educated I get about how history has worked and how the world works, in reality at the large scale, I do kind of understand how a military industrial complex is almost, one might say, necessary to establish order. And at that level, even if you're the good guys, you're gonna do some bad stuff. So it's a tricky one, right? Like if 25% of something is bad, would it be okay to get the good? Like that silly Tim Pool clip from a while ago that I covered where he made an AI and it was like, would you be okay with living life if, you had to pay 90% of your wage to taxes, but all of the liberals live in a pod, eat bugs, and they're not allowed to vote? Like how much bad do you take to get the good, right? Or, how good does that good have to be to overweigh the little bit of bad? Anyway, Mr. Lindsey Graham here, has passed away, and now the conspiracy theories start rolling in, which, I wasn't very much, like quick to jump on the conspiracy theory. As much as I'm into a conspiracy theory and make a show loosely based off conspiracy theories, but mostly fact, I am very, very timid to just blindly take and jump onto a conspiracy theory. Just like when, Charlie Kirk passed away. That's the big one going on the last few weeks, right? I was not quick to jump on like a holy moly conspiracy theory of Charlie Kirk being assassinated by some, like foreign, system or something like that. I guess I'm like what? I'm like deep state bad guy bias because, now the theories of, Mitch McConnell and stuff over here, right? They're like basically, is it Russia? Is it Israel? Oh, it's the Jews again. Is it Iran? Well, Iran did put, I believe it was Lindsey Graham, maybe Mitch McConnell also. They did put them on some like, Iranian hit list, you know, or like, hey, he's the bad guy we're going to try and get rid of or something, like the day before his passing. So that conspiracy theory of all so far is the first one that I've seen that maybe has a little bit, you know, of like obvious credence to it, right? Like, you know, that's pretty interesting if they were thinking about, you know. But also it's interesting because I guess he was not married, didn't have no kids, so he was all by himself and stuff. And then somebody found him, I forget. He does have a sister. Trump actually recommended the sister temporarily take over for him. Does anybody know anything about the sister? Dang, bro, we got 13 viewers. That's huge. Smashing records, Trolley. Amen. Hey, what's your tinfoil hat? What's the liberal hive mind download for the Lindsey Graham passing away? What's the conspiracy theory in your libtard circles, Trolley? Yeah. What up, bootlickers, Trump slurpers? Amen, brother. You know where you're at. Oh man, but so there is maybe a little bit of credence, or you know, more fuel for the conspiracy fires at minimum. Mr. Benny Johnson here was covering this piece, but apparently we've got
one of the occupational hazards of being.
Where's what? They get rid of the mute button. There are sightings of the FBI checking out Lindsey Graham's home. Here's someone saying, better, you know, take out Lindsey Graham. He's a problem for Trump. World would be better without him. You know, a lot of hate going around in the world, especially on the internet, all randomly and stuff. So, you know, he was a long-time political figure guy, and he was pretty warmongery. So, you know, like he just got back from a trip to Ukraine. You know, he was super pro-Ukraine war and everything. So, you know, there's a lot of conspiracy theory angles you could point, you know, and whatnot. Yeah, here's some FBI stuff right here.
20 FBI agents have stormed Lindsey Graham's Capitol Hill home. This is the first time that the FBI was seen tearing through Lindsey Graham's house. And this comes as quite a shock to everybody on Capitol Hill, mainly because, well, what is the FBI doing there exactly? 20 agents from the FBI burst into Lindsey Graham's D.C. residence 2 days after his death. 2 law enforcement officials were on the scene.
I mean, like, he was a high-up political figure, so FBI sniffing around just to check things out doesn't sound too crazy to me, right? I don't know, just me. I mean, Ukraine's probably super sad about Lindsey Graham too, huh, Trolley? Yeah, I'd say Israel and Ukraine probably bummed. He was all about giving out weapons. Yeah, you seem just like a negative, sad kind of person that wishes death upon anyone that you don't really care about. And I bet the people you care about are very minimal, but you're kind of dark sometimes, Trolley. You should probably like pull up, bro. And then, you know, the other interesting fact around Mr. Lindsey Graham that I was hearing was that Trump was like the last person supposedly to like talk to him on the phone. And they were discussing the plan for trying to get the SAVE Act pushed through, or like some kind of an angle,
hazards of being a neo
to like some kind of an angle to like get the SAVE Act pushed through or something. And I don't know what came of it. I think there's like a new Housing Act bill that was supposed to like something help drop, you know, the housing prices sooner, more immediate or something. And Trump was floating around trying to like hold that back until we got the SAVE Act pushed through as, you know, a little bit of, you know, some give and take leverage or something like that. But, yeah, Trump was just talking to Mr. Lindsey Graham about trying to push through the SAVE Act, I guess. We've got to push through the SAVE Act, Scott. It's actually fully called the Save America Act, but people tell me it's easier just to call it the SAVE Act. You know, people are simple. But actually, what we need to do is pass that bill because mail-in voting needs to be reined in on a massive scale. widely used for fraud. It's very rampant in fraud. And actually, earlier today, we had agents bust into the Georgia Fulton County office looking for evidence in the stolen election of 2020. Oh, bro, one sec, man. Yeah. Jumping ahead there, bro. We got that one too, man. But yeah, we'll definitely check that one out. Pretty interesting that Fulton County had some things going on here this week as well. Hopefully we can get a little bit more light shined on the old election fraud scandal. It would be pretty epic to get massive arrests for election fraud and 100% proved numbers, and then just rub it in the faces of people like the troll, like week after week after week. You know what I mean? That'd be pretty entertaining to me. I believe the autopsy report came back, and it is just showing cardiac arrest. So, he died of natural causes, one might say, or he died in a manner that resembles natural causes, someone else might say. We got heart attack guns, that are pretty much fully released and proven now, and not just tinfoil hat lore at this point. And then you got Jewish space lasers, like who knows, right? But
we will make America great again. We will make America great again.
All right, cool. It's 9 o'clock. Yeah, Trolley, don't be so negative and wish ill upon people, bro. It's not good for the soul, bro. Probably just makes you spiral more and more into a self-loathing, hole and stuff like that, and then it makes you just want to troll more. Then you just got to try and troll your way out of the hole, man, but it doesn't work that way. Yes, God, it doesn't work that way. The trolls always lose. You have to work your way hard out of a hole. Whenever you're backed into a corner or a hole, my father always taught me you just work harder, and that's the way that you get past it. And then I learned that you actually just make a deal, and sometimes it's a lot less work. Sometimes it's a lot more work, Scott. Just like trying to make deals with these Iranians, it's pretty painful, actually. Yeah, most def, bro. I heard that the deal thing wasn't going too hot, right? A few times on the show we had ooh, yay, the peace deal is in, we got the peace deal with Iran. Not to mention Ukraine. Yeah, the Ukrainians and the Russians, that one's not been too easy either. I may have oversold that one in the rallies, running for the election. But honestly, actually, that's going not so bad. But Iran, I think I've gave them their last chance, and it's time to blast them back to the Stone Age, as I say. Yeah, bro, that's what I've been seeing going on this week. Allegedly, Iranians broke another deal. So it's just been time for more bombs. You know what I mean? Yeah, straight up, Dan. Got to keep them batteries in the Trump clock fresh, man. It's oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it was last week when he said something about it's shocking the batteries are still lasting because he just picked this up off a leftover store shelf. And literally when he left, I was still working on something. Or it was the next day I came in and the Trump clock was stuck at midnight or noon. I couldn't tell which one. By the time I noticed it, so it was funny coincidence. As soon as Dan mentioned it, the dang battery died. But what I was thinking about the Iran thing, man, is I would imagine I'm not the only one that thought this one. I think we talked about it on the show. But one obvious angle, in my opinion, of him trying to make these deals, and obviously public, right? And it was such a big, news piece thing of, another peace deal, it failed. Another peace deal, it failed. And then, just like usual, right? It's the 5D chess, analogy, the 4D chess, the 5D chess, whichever one you prefer, right? But playing this, extra dimensional chess as opposed to checkers, where talking to stupid people and simple people, like a troll in your chat, they're very first order thinkers and they can't think of the subsequent things that will happen down the road. So every time the media was mocking Trump for another Iranian peace deal failure, I do believe it was actually just a pawn being sacrificed, because now he has a clear, gigantic, public track record of multiple attempts to make peace deals. But no peace can happen because some idiot then keeps trying to blow up something. So now it's pretty much like he's just trying to wear out, all of the haters that are going to lose their shit about him going in there and taking out more terrorists and more terrorist infrastructure. So at this point, man, we're really running out of need to be soft and easy, right? So, that's kind of where I think it's leading, right? So he's just basically been, trying to do real peace deals, but knowing that they would fail, and preparing for like absolute massive devastation, right? And then it cracks me up when I talk to people or see online, they're like, actually, we're totally losing over there and the Iranians are winning. Like, bruh, I mean, all the crap I watch could be made up AI too, bro. But facts are facts, dog. And if the United States military is putting out these videos and then people are showing videos of the leftovers blown up, and then the Iranians won't tell you who their new leader is. Clearly some things are real. So for instance, man, this one that we're looking at here was from yesterday. I guess the U.S. Navy was using multiple one-way attack surface drones. CENTCOM forces successfully struck a submarine and ship maintenance facility in Iran. 3 Corsair unmanned surface vessels hit the port at Bandar Abbas Naval Base, marking the first time American forces have employed sea drones in combat operations. That's wild. I guess all the past couple decades of new technology, we haven't really had to actually fight with people a lot, or at minimum by sea. That's crazy. That's the first time we've used a sea drone in combat. Wild. Last night's strike degraded Iran's ability to continue attacking commercial shipping, because I believe what set this off again is, we had that peace treaty, the ceasefire, and then some a-hole Iranian terrorist person tried to blow up another civilian ship. I don't even think it was a business ship. Yeah, I mean, this post here says Iran still controls Hormuz and no one can force it to give up control of its territorial waters. Yeah, that's definitely not true. It's just we're trying not to be wipe them off the face of the earth ridiculous. So I would definitely argue the United States military could force them. And then I don't know if I got it in this post, but right before the show, I was hearing one that was talking about they are looking into rerouting it. They're looking into a different pipeline. Yeah, I think this was just another. Yeah, this is how we got a drone. We got a U.S. Navy drone. This was interesting from, all the way outside. And apparently this thing scuttlebutted all the way in here undetected, made it all the way in, and boop, hit the submarine on the inside port. So it wasn't even outside on the coast. That's interesting. Making the first combat use? Yeah. First use of combat naval water drone. That's wild. Then this next one was the U.S. could have used a missile. Instead, it used the Saronic Corsair unmanned surface vessel. I got that in there 3 times apparently. And then also on land, U.S. bunker buster tears into Iran's underground missile fortress. America deployed devastating GBU-72 bunker buster bombs to strike a deeply buried missile factory at Iran's 4th Tactical Fighter Base near Dezful. Built to survive attacks, hidden under rock, no runway, bunker, or mountain is safe from Trump's military strikes. I mean, yeah, the U.S. military, bro, is serious business. So, but I do agree with some of the critiques where they're oh man, we keep saying we blew up all of their stuff, but then somehow each time they break the deal, we got more stuff to blow up. So it's maybe we should just actually blow up all their stuff, and then they'll cave and stop breaking the peace treaty and stop trying to murder people that are trying to conduct business in the Strait of Hormuz or something like that. Maybe if they were smart business people, they would just like, charge a tariff and call it a day, right? Like if they just like ran the damn thing successfully, then people not really have much to gripe about. And then here, allegedly, is a U.S. oil surging ship over to Japan after Iran's Hormuz miscalculation. Oil is flowing strong to Japan with hundreds of thousands of gallons recently surging to the region. Iran's chaos in the Strait of Hormuz was a severe miscalculation. Japan buying more American oil is a huge win. So at minimum, what Iran's trying to do doesn't really affect anything outside of their tiny little box they live in over at the Hormuz Strait, because we're still getting the oil out, sold, and Japan is still doing fine. So Japan's probably going to stay on our side of the whole mess as long as, they're not being as affected or they're taken care of and stuff. So that's pretty wild. That ship's got to be gigantic. That's crazy. Look at how huge that is. 900,000 barrels just arrived in Japan. That's crazy. Yeah, bro, you gotta have these things like sent with security, bro. Like you ain't slipping through nobody's radar here with a giant cargo ship of goods, man. I'm always shocked that there's not more like stories of crazy, international pirates just taking ships all the time over the last like 10 years or something. Like it happens, but these things are just going back and forth through the frickin' ocean daily. Pretty awesome that we only hear as little as we do, honestly. Yeah, this one was the reporter was like, there are reports about Iranian drones in Cuba. And then Trump said this.
There are reports about Iranian drones in Cuba. There are concerns about that. Where does the relationship with the U.S. stand there? Is military intervention still on the table there?
Well, if they do have that, and they might very well have that, we'll take care of it. Marco's just in the other room. And if they do have that, we'll take care of it in short order. We're not going to have a problem. We're not going to allow that to happen. So it could be that they're storing some. We're looking into it now. It could be so, and it maybe isn't. But we'll figure it out fast.
The most like circle around, like give you some answer that I don't actually know about that one, but I'm pretty confident we'll take care of that. But I wondered if this was maybe if this report the reporter is mentioning is legit, then we might see actual action happen to maybe doing something over in Cuba. I hope it's not like a take it over kind of thingy or anything. I hope it's more Venezuelan, where you take out the real bad apple and then hopefully the underlings will act right. But I wonder if that's like a canary in the coal mine for what is to come, because if we got Iranians trying to float around over in the Cuban area, I definitely don't think American military is going to let that fly too long, man. Oh yeah, I was going to hit us with some comedic relief right off the bat, but I forgot. Mr. Trump, man, you got me all off task, when we opened the show, man. I'm sorry about that, Scott. Sometimes, I just take the show. It's just how I am, Yeah, I feel you, brother. So comedic relief here in spite of Dan forgetting to post all week and not giving us any comedic relief. At least I didn't notice one yet. Maybe I'm wrong. But over here, Trolley, you're just like saying stupid stuff, brother. Like Trolley, just say something productive. Take a 5-minute breather, man. Just blowing the chat up over here. Anybody else in the live chat, feel free to chime in and maybe bury Trolley's comments. So back in the day, you used to not have to wear a seatbelt. And you also used to be able to drink almost wherever you wanted. And I don't know if you've seen this one. It's like, gone around a few times over the last year or two I've seen it. But it's funny. It's got to be out the straight up 70s, I'd say, man. This one cracks me up.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting common this when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. And pretty soon we're going to be a communist country.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
Of course, they gotta have a southern accent, right, dude? Like, what is this communist bullshit telling me I gotta wear me a seatbelt and damn, I can't drink at least like 1 or 2 beers after a hard day's work. God dang, what the freaking America coming to, man? Oh man, that cracks me up. Where are my old people in the chat, man? Where are my old people that remember the days before seatbelts and drunk driving tickets, man? Golly. And people say like right now is the worst time ever, man. Shit was Wiki Wild West not very long ago. Like was there just less people in cars on the road? Like how drunk driving, car crash accidents causing death, how are they more now than they are in the 70s? I don't know if that's true. I wonder. But if they are, it's got to be the people, right? It's got to be the culture that shifted. Like back in the day, maybe people just understood that you shouldn't get totally rip-tore when you drive, and it was totally fine. And then, like usual with most rules and laws, some a-hole ruined it for the rest of us, went out of control, and now there's a freaking rule where you can't drink and drive. Oh, my goodness. On to the second biggest story of last week, in my humble opinion. It's another banger, like I was mentioning, from the fantastical investigative journalism of Mr. Nick Shirley. So I'm most definitely hoping this goes mega super viral like the Somali one. So make sure to pull this up later this week. Maybe after the show right away if you're, trying to go to sleep or, stay up too late and you need something to watch. But definitely pull this video up from Mr. Shirley, bro, because, like, man, give him the views, give him the stats, give him the support, and then, maybe share it out and stuff too, dude. I got the YouTube link right there, and then it ate the YouTube link. Or I got the X link. Did I say YouTube? Then I got the YouTube link, but it's, like, right here, So it'll be on the receipts blog page in the link description box down below later tonight after I fix it. So you'll be able to pull that shit up later tonight or tomorrow. But I've got the X version right here.
On 7,000 patients, and you say there's not 7,000 patients. Are you committing fraud? Does this daycare pay you to come here? Yogi. She just said yes. Here, 3 durable medical equipment companies were launched, and so we're wondering, like, where's the equipment at? Our tax dollars are paying for old people to do Tai Chi here inside of New York.
So you might wonder, is that the best use of dollars, or are we better off paying for life-saving treatments in hospitals?
One of the largest fraud schemes in America is taking place in New York City as billions of dollars is being defrauded by organized Korean and Chinese mafias.
Dang! So this one's possibly, potentially, maybe, sort of, kind of, allegedly, someone maybe kind of told me Korean mafias, or like a mix, like a Korean Chinese mafia, or like some Korean, some Chinese. Crazy, but it's the Asians that might be getting exposed here this time. The bad immigrant ones, right? The good ones stand on rooftops and shoot. What is it like? Criminal bad guys, right? What was that from the 80s or something? Koreans on the rooftops.
Along with other foreigners operating and stealing taxpayer dollars. They are using the elderly and the needy to build the United States government billions of dollars at your expense. In the state of New York, government-funded personal assistance has become the #1 fastest growing industry in the state, going from $2.5 billion in 2019 to now nearly $12 billion in 2025.
Yeah, it's, some industries just boom. So maybe it's just all the, the boomers getting old, or maybe it needs some investigations.
It is an industry full of fraudsters who have taken advantage of the system, and as New York City leads the state with funding and amount of providers, locations like Flushing, Queens have more than 70 adult daycares within just a few blocks. Some of these daycares receiving more than $40 million to watch the elderly play board games at the
$40 million, bro? Like, how expensive is it to like watch old people? I mean, like, there's gonna be some cost there, but like $40 million is a lot of effing money.
taxpayers' expense. And to see the fraud firsthand, we headed to an adult daycare who had received over $5 million, and they explained exactly how the fraud works and even led us to the main fraudsters in the area. Stay tuned because
yeah, these guys were like, yo, bro, we only took like $5 million. We're pretty above the board around here. Go check out that dude down the road with the, he got the 40 mil.
You're gonna be shocked to see what our tax dollars are being spent on.
We're heading to One Stop Senior Daycare Center. This place has billed $5.2 million in just 2025 alone, and they're averaging 276 beneficiaries per day, which is 5 times above the national average of just 48 beneficiaries a day. So they have 5 times the amount of people coming into this daycare each and every single day, and they billed $5.2 million. Let's go see what their operation looks like. It's on the 2nd floor. We're going in. Here we go. Hello, sir. Hello. How are you? Is this One Stop Daycare Center, right?
What do you think's gonna happen? What do you think's gonna happen? How do you think she's gonna act when he starts asking a bunch of weird questions? Do you think she's gonna be like, oh man, those are some really good questions, and like, I understand that you're curious and want to like, help prove the legitimacy of our operation. Hold on, let me answer some of these questions right now, but I'm busy. Could we set a time and I'll answer all of your questions, please, sir? I would love to give you an interview to prove our company's legitimacy. Do you think that's what she's going to say?
Hi. Awesome. How are you doing, sir?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Amazing. We were wondering if we could check our grandma into daycare.
Oh, okay. Okay, come, sit.
And we have some questions as well.
Yes.
We were instantly welcomed in, and these...
Whoa, I was wrong. That's what they usually do when he investigates these people. What's up with this one?
Individuals did something that no fraudster had ever done before and actually opened up and talked about their business. Now, it's super important to follow this conversation because they expose exactly how the fraud happens.
Is there 270 people here today?
No.
No.
Yeah. So right now, when was that?
2025.
Yeah, last year, yeah.
Last year.
Majority of our members left.
They left.
Yeah.
So last year was a big business.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's like, less than that. You can check up for the current, the billing.
So what happened to all the people?
Oh, yeah.
To everywhere else. Everywhere that, maybe you guys know why you're here.
You're searching for the fraud or claim or something, right?
You guys chose the wrong place.
Not here. I'm going to recommend...
We have
Oh, so you can tell us where the other fraud's at?
We will, is this being recorded?
Yeah.
Okay, so we would love to, but we're very concerned. We were trying to maybe reach out to other actual, government agencies.
Yeah.
But we're very careful because it's a conflict of interest between us and other people.
And other daycares.
Yeah, but us, I'm actually glad that you guys came.
You are the one.
So I couldn't get a read on this, man. I couldn't get a beat on it, and he's like, oh, we're glad you came, like that's a little bit of a like, spin it to make it, we're not defensive or something, right? So, who knows, there are completely above the board, old fogey homes, right? So, maybe these guys are legit, or, maybe like a lot of businesses do a little bit of like some trying to like bend the rules kind of stuff, right? So maybe they're just not as bad. But they did sit here and answer a lot of his questions. That was interesting. And they did roll on another one. And they sent him over there.
$10.8 million, and then transportation, they paid $2.1 million. The last daycare we were at said this is the one that is taking all their clients and they're giving kickbacks. Let's go see what's going on. So look right here, they just put them in this van right here. They bust these old people in and then they bring them in here and then they're taking kickbacks. Oh, we're going to Sunrise Senior Service.
I am working over there.
Oh, perfect.
What brought you here?
Oh, I would like to sign my grandma up for daycare.
Can you repeat that again?
I would like to sign my grandma for daycare.
Oh, she's American, right?
Yeah.
But no American here, so yeah.
So you're discriminating against Americans?
No, no discrimination. But, only Koreans here, so I think she cannot get along with other people because they cannot speak English.
Can you guys hear that? Can you guys hear it okay? I try to keep it quiet here so the mic don't pick it up right, but I can listen along and know what they're saying, but it's a little bit hard for me to say. Does it come out better over the screen, the TV or whatever you're watching on? He said, is she like a white grandma? Yeah, I don't know if she'll do a good here, you know. Everybody speaks Korean.
Oh, she speaks Korean.
Oh, that's American?
Yeah, American that speaks Korean.
American, Korean American?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay, then no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her name's Dept.
Okay, maybe this guy's legit, right? Shirley went with the, like, you know, let's go ahead and, you know, white lie here to try and get the undercover intel deets, so he lies to him. It's like, oh, no, bro, my grandma taught Korean.
Debbie.
Yeah, she wants to come and play games with the old people.
Oh, yeah, she will be here?
Yeah. We're thinking about bringing her here.
Oh, when?
Not yet.
Damn, bro, they don't take care of the old people.
Oh my word. Everyone, calm down. Calm down. Is it true, like, if my grandma Debbie signs up, she can then, like, get a kickback and, like, get money?
Kickback and money?
Yeah.
What about the money? I don't understand. What money are you talking about?
Like, someone was telling my grandma Debbie that if she comes here, then...
You know, so the rest of it, you know, they weren't as like, let's just go talk like the first one. So hopefully this, you know, leads to a little bit more investigations. Definitely make sure to give it the full watch. But another part I wanted to highlight is thank God for his first big viral one going so crazy and amazing, because now Nick Shirley straight up talks to the flipping president of the United States, and then Mr. Dr. Oz, which I forget his position, right? But he has been closely involved with the fraud committee with J.D. Vance as the head of it, right? And so he's been really, involved in giving the press briefings on, like, you know, catching on to some of these Somali fraudsters and stuff, but or just, you know, whatever fraudsters, right? But the big holy cow Minnesota fraudsters, and then other places around the United States that they're finding and stuff like that. Okay, cool. You can hear it fine. Thanks, Wilkinson. Excellent. All right, but yeah, super cool that he's, you know, got the clout to get Mr. Dr. Oz to come on his vidya and go on a little investigation walk with him. Like, pretty cool to me, man.
Dr. Oz, who is the head administrator of CMS, Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services, to go deep into the fraud in this sector of New York City. From the daycares, pharmacies, durable medical equipment companies, this place is full of fraud, and Dr. Oz is going to dive deep into it with me and also even confront some of the fraudsters themselves. Be prepared to learn a lot. Inside of this apartment complex, one apartment alone, there is 3 DME companies operating out of one apartment. Is that even possible?
That's always super shady, right? How you run 3 businesses out of one building if it's like a physical service business, you know? If you're doing some like e-commerce and online coaching and something else digital, maybe, yeah, sure.
Possible, and it says that these places can make about $2 to $8 million a year.
Well, first off, was there anything in the apartments when you went to it?
Absolutely nothing. There was a mom and her children, and the husband was out.
It's almost certainly fraud.
Out being crooked.
First off, it's $2 to $8 million a month, believe it or not, when they really get to scale. They may just be at that number now, but these guys grow like vermin very quickly. There's twice as many durable medical suppliers in South Florida than McDonald's because it's easier to open one than a bank account. And the person named in the account...
Huh? I can open a McDonald's that easy?
Is never the person who actually owns the business. In South Florida, the Cuban government's involved. I don't know where these guys are getting their money to go, but they're definitely shipping it somewhere. And that's why I get very nervous about foreign governments getting entangled in this. But to open 3 in one apartment makes no sense, especially when there's no product there. All you're doing is gaming the system. And the fact that we didn't audit it, didn't catch it, didn't stop it, and they're probably out there making money infuriates me and should bother folks out there because it's your...
Infuriates me. Yes, we are infuriated. We want more effing arrests, my Lord Almighty. And what the hell were we blowing all of the money on government employment? Like, what were we doing that for? Like, what were they doing? Like, it was like, well, it was like, dude, like, it's got to be like the X and the Facebooks and the Microsofts and all those stupid huge tech companies where they were like the silly chicks making TikTok videos about, this is my day at work. I show up and I get my breakfast at the lunch place, you know, and then like I do an hour of work and then it's time for Pilates and then more snacks. And then I take a mental health break and go on lunch and then get back to work for another 2 hours. And then it's time for, you know, spin class. Like, it was like, you know, maybe they were exaggerating it to look cool on the internet, but God bless, bro. And then all these people, like 75% of the staff gets fired at Twitter when it turns into X and Elon takes it over. And never didn't work. Never didn't work. And then it just started getting better. So, like, what were we paying all these effing government employees for, bro? It was like the most government employees of American history, I believe, during Joe Biden's term. What the F were they doing? If they wasn't catching and investigating all these fraudsters, they was just investigating the American citizens? That's all? Yeah, bruh. And people like Trolley wonder why we're freaking Trump bootlickers. Get out of here.
Your tax dollars paying for this.
So it's literally impossible for somebody to be operating a durable medical equipment company inside of an apartment.
Inside an apartment with no goods and 2 other durable medical equipment suppliers, that's a major red flag, the kind you walk in the battle with.
So 3 LLCs inside of 1 apartment, and Dr. Oz has confirmed that that's not even possible.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that?
We then headed over to a daycare that had a pharmacy on one side and another medical facility on the other side, which goes to show the perfect example of a location that uses an adult daycare to carry out other forms of fraud.
And so they might be working together. Often that's the case. One of the clues we have is if the social adult daycare center is running a lot of other businesses.
Yeah, bro, straight up. You make an adult daycare and then you make a freaking pill popping selling center right next to each other. Evil genius business model, right? Get a bunch of old people in there and like, well, bro, you might as well pick up your script from like next door. It's so convenient. Actually, I don't have an activity for you right now, so you might as well just walk down there right now. Here's your credit card and go buy your scripts and come back up here for a game of checkers, you know? Like,
example might be they're doing transportation, and so it makes us concerned. So this one was actually shut down, the original one, and didn't take long for another one to sprout right up again. This facility was shut down, back up again. It makes you wonder if the person that you went after was really the appropriate culprit, because maybe they're just, you know, the frontline guy who's doing the beckoning of the boss. The minion here is following the order.
Bro, is Dr. Oz not saying all the obvious bullshit that a normal effing person would think when they hear about these, you know, these things going on? Like, if you're watching the news or the like, some man, yeah, that's all real people thought shit, bro. Like, well, what do you know? Maybe we're just taking out the front pawn and we need to go find the freaking higher up leader guy. Jiminy Christmas.
Of the Don. And when the Don says, okay, you're out of business, you move on to some other endeavor, I'll take care of you.
Did someone say Don? I heard somebody said Don. I think that was my best good friend, buddy, Mr. Dr. Oz. Was he talking to me? No, Trump. Sorry, we're watching the Nick Shirley thing, you know. Oh, yeah, that's right. Them damn fraudsters. All right, sorry. I just heard Don, you know.
Of money,
most
union dues translate into political support. So it's basically political patronage, and that should be illegal.
Yeah, so these people are really just taking and looting from federal dollars and state dollars as well.
Which put some numbers on it. When Medicaid, the state, for example, that runs this program, it's paid for by New York state dollars, but they get 2/3 of the money back from the federal taxpayer, which means if you're watching right now from New Mexico, Mississippi, Texas, Florida, you know, even Illinois and California, if you're watching from there, you're helping to pay for this. Congratulations. Yep. You own a little bit of the business. You look around here.
Just like effing, the Minnesota fraud thing, right? Like, it wasn't just like oh, well, that happened in Minnesota, so I care less because it was just Minnesota taxes. Like, nah, dude, these people are getting fed money, bro. They're getting all of our federal effing taxes, and then that's why, the federal healthcare thing, the federal military thing, all of that stuff has less money, and then they need the money to fill the budget. And then they want to raise taxes or, whatever other avenues to, get money into the federal government, which generally is only, from getting them from the citizens, like from us, right? Specifically, if it's, in democratic leadership, right? Seems like they're a little bit more like, so we just take it from the people, right? Yeah, problem solved. We'll take more money from the people. Where, now you have like, crazy businessman Trump coming in with his, tariffs, where it's almost like we're just treating America like a business and we're charging a fee to do business. And, that's one way to generate revenue, wildly more revenue than taking it from people. Think of, I don't know, anybody like worked at a job high enough where you like paid attention and cared about this, or like, like own a business or something. Every single business starts out selling to their friends and family and random, regular, anybody who will come, residential people, right? The regular citizens, right? And then you start doing better and knowing how to filter your regular residential clients better. And you stop kind of taking some of those, whoever the heck came in before. Then you start doing small business and making more money and realize it's more money and less hassle because you don't need to explain as many things or, do as much like overwork, yada, yada, yada. And it very much in many, many industries, I don't know if I'd say almost all, but many, many industries, maybe I would say majority, right? The natural transgression of the business is to basically stop selling to regular residential because you just make more money and it's less problem selling to business, right? And so that's why it's very difficult for a lot of service businesses to even like stick around and help residential, right? Like personally, my personal experience is there's not a lot of tech repair shops left anymore. And 2 of them are corporate chains in town, right? And Best Buy is almost not doing anything at all. They barely even send things away now. They just tell everybody to buy a new one. And then, so a lot of those businesses either failed or just realized that doing business IT was going to be a lot better and easier, like more simple to train people on, like getting employees, yada, yada. It's just way easier.
Here, not to be specific, because it could be any ethnic group, but this area seems to be overwhelmingly ethnic Chinese. They're very insular. They're very much proud of their heritage. They speak the same language, same cultures. They hang with each other. They don't want to tell on each other. I was actually walking through the streets here, and a charge nurse of mine from Columbia, where I practiced for many years, I'm a professor there. This woman is tough as nails. And she ran up to me and she was so happy to see me. And then she noticed folks around me, with guns. She said, "Why are you here?" I said, "I'm looking at these social adult daycare centers." Abject fear. I mean, panic. Says, "You have to leave now. I can't be seen with you." And she ran away, which means that people they both are living in fear because there's actual danger here. This is also, by the way, the hub of human trafficking in the eastern part of the country. But it also means that these kinds of businesses are worth fighting over.
Take them down. If we know that they're stealing federal and state tax money, committing fraud, not offering services to people good enough or, proper, and it's a human trafficking, like, bruh. Those are the things that make people lead to, welcoming crazy tyrannical leadership that goes wacko. But that's the main highlights out of this one so far. I'm sure he's got some more, add-on clip videos coming and some more information. And then, hopefully we see something come out of it a little bit more soonly than normal. They've already got this fraud committee going, and they're popping people from the Minnesota and Ohio fraud and California. I believe we caught some people as well. So, now it's just going to be like, well, add in this, New York, seemingly like Korean, Chinese based kind of potential fraud to investigate. And, If they're all good, they're all good. And if they're not, then straight to jail, right? Well, and this was, on the topic of Nick Shirley in general. And then here I am trying to paint you the more positive outlook that's not covered by the mainstream news, and maybe you don't see it on your feed. Talking about this new fraud that he's uncovering, right? Or potential fraud, say, right? Alleged. The fraud that he had already found that went viral is getting traction, and we're seeing results, man. So Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just dropped the hammer. The IRS is launching massive, relentless audits on every bank, MSB, and dirty money middleman who helped launder the stolen cash. They have nowhere to hide. And this is in regard to the fraudsters who looted billions of dollars from the Minnesota families just getting caught. So no more hiding behind shell companies, no more wiring taxpayer dollars to Somalia while American families suffer. Every dirty transaction is about to be torched under the microscope. Is this what he's literally saying? Let's check the clip, I guess.
Civil enforcement is auditing financial institutions that facilitated the laundering of Minnesota funds, in addition to helping support criminal and civil enforcement efforts. The IRS will also soon announce...
Okay, nah, it's way more boring. That's the other reason why I'm a fan of Donald Trump. Like, hey, Trump, how would you have said this one instead of how Mr. Scott Bessent said it? Here, let's listen to Scott's version again.
Civil enforcement is auditing financial institutions that facilitated the laundering of Minnesota funds, in addition to helping support criminal and civil enforcement efforts. The IRS will also soon announce the formation of a task force. Civil enforcement is auditing financial institutions that facilitated the laundering of Minnesota funds, in addition.
All right, Scott, I've got it. How I would have told everybody this in a press briefing, I would have said, so look, I've got Scott Bessent on it. Oh, he's a good one, folks. He's a good one. And he's going to be starting a investigation deal where they're going to look into these crooked, horrible people. They're very terrible. I don't know that. Other people tell me they're very terrible because apparently these horrible, terrible people are actually stealing our money. They're stealing your money. They're stealing the money of the American citizens. It's not good, folks. They're terrible people. These bad people need to be stopped. Just like Crooked Hillary or Sleepy Joe needed to be stopped, and I stopped them. I'm going to stop these horrible, crooked, maybe Somalian or just local American Minnesota people who are stealing from the other Minnesota people, and that way we can completely put an end to this fraud cases going on, and where we can now get back to making America great in the golden age of America, where there's less fraud scams, less stealing of our tax money. Okay, I get you, bro. I get you. I get the gist, bro. That was my point, though. You know, like, another reason why I like you, right, is when you give a speech thing, it's more entertaining. It's a bombastic thing that, gets people riled up, which gets better press coverage. Because, honestly, it's just more interesting, man. You listen to Scott Bessent here, and he's like, it wasn't like the worst, dry. It wasn't like Mitch McConnell dry, right? But it wasn't really inspiring, right? It's just, I'm going to read the words off of the prompter to you, and we're looking into it, folks, and we're going to start up a thing. All right. We're excited. I'm so excited right now. Thank you. And Trump's like, the horrible people, they're bad people, they're stupid, horrible, crazy people. That might offend you, but talk about it. I don't know, man. Call me crazy, and then like us Trump bootlickers with a Trump clock and a Trump one shirt are gonna kind of feel that way, right? I'm so bummed that we'll probably never have another president this crazy. Like in like good crazy, right? Like in the rest of my lifetime, I got another 40, 60 years on this planet. That's a lot of time, but man, very broke the mold, All right, okay, here we go. Trump is Is Georgia County what you're going to be talking about Thursday night? Well, Scott, I have scheduled a press conference for Thursday night, late Thursday night. You know, I work all hours of the day and night, so I think I was told it will be at 9 o'clock. But what we'll be doing is talking about something very important. I can't say what it is yet, so you know, I actually am not sure if it's about the Georgia County raid recently by the FBI, or maybe about the bombs going off over Iran. It's not bombs over Baghdad, folks. Today it's bombs over Iran. But then it also could maybe be about some healthcare stuff I have in the works that I will be releasing very soonly. So you're just going to have to tune in, folks. Thursday night, I will be addressing the nation and telling you folks something very, very important. At least people tell me that it's important. I don't know, but pay attention. All right, cool, man. I'm in. Thursday night, we'll find out what it is, and I'll talk about it next week on the show. But, you know, for this week right here, folks, we've got the FBI has apparently just flooded into Fulton County, Georgia, which, if you need a reminder, Fulton County is the whatchamahoosit? Fulton County is the one where Trump called up the governor and was like, yo, dude, where's my votes? And then, you know, the you know, TDS patient, you know, liberal hating Trump media turned that into give me those fake votes, like make up fake votes right now, you know, and they spun it out of control, right? When, you know, he was essentially just calling and saying like, yeah, I really don't believe that I didn't get that many votes and Biden got that many votes over there in Fulton County. So I'm going to need you to find those, you know, missing votes. But now we've got the FBI over there because I believe there's a deadline of the 17th. Does it say it in this one? No. I believe it's a deadline of the 17th for Fulton County to like turn over a whole bunch of like election information or some shit, like a bunch of what we would now call evidence, but a bunch of, you know, election data. So hundreds of agents have busted on into the Fulton County, Georgia place, some election building, I would imagine. You know, ramping up the 2020 election investigation following a raid that seized ballots. Yeah, we did have a raid like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago or something. We covered that one. Material that was seized is being reviewed, including data taken from ballot tabulation machines. Over 200 agents were just deployed, appears to be accelerating. Field offices nationwide are reportedly zeroing in on this probe. Okay. So it's a very light news piece, but I feel like it could be canary in the coal mine, bro. We're getting closer and closer, gosh darn it. And if the evidence is not entirely, completely destroyed, at least hopefully we get somebody to like blow the whistle, man, and like turn on somebody and like, you know, just sing. But I think that is very interesting. And boy, would I love it if Thursday night's address to the nation was about finding some plain, hard, cold proofular evidence of the 2020 election fraud, man. I'm really sold on that conspiracy theory. That's a conspiracy theory for me, man. I don't know about, you know, oh, Israel, everything. So they seized things that have been investigated already. Who were they investigated by first, Trolley? Let's see if we can use our big boy brain. Why would somebody go and grab things that have already been looked at before? Maybe they were not looked at by you, and you want to look at them now. You see, that's the point with mail-in voter fraud, is if there's a mail-in vote that says Joe Biden, you could recount that till the cows come home and you don't detect any fraud. Or perhaps you don't stop any fraud. Because there are several people from, you know, Fulton County that have blown the whistle And they talk about how they literally detected fraud in the moment and then were told to ignore it. And some of them were put on a different task. What about what truth, what facts, Shirley? You haven't said anything. I asked you who looked at the evidence the first time it was seized. And then we got to turn the big boy brain on. What truth and facts, Shirley? You have not said anything of substance. Anyway, this is related to the raid in Fulton County. Trump will be joined by Ratcliffe of the CIA, Patel of the FBI, and Pult of the DNI, and Mullen of the DHS, and they are reportedly going to reveal a, quote, foreign nation's plan to interfere in 2020 presidential election, according to two unnamed White House officials. So that is a leak that could be true or false. Yeah, this is the one that made me consider that he might be talking about election fraud findings Thursday night. But man, they better be big and substantial. They better put, like, you know, trolls like Trolly in the chat here. They better put him in the quiet corner if he's going to be making a big bad, you know, national address on it, bro. That's where, like, don't want to get my hopes up and be let down too much, man. But God bless. Yes, there has been a lot of mail-in voter fraud. The issue is we have not been able to acquire the evidence of who sent in fraudulent mail-in votes. So think about this, Shirley. All right, cool. So you're a TDS patient, right? Just like you actually are. So you hate Trump, right? And you move into a new house. Maybe an apartment. Couldn't afford the house. It's tough out there, right? All you do is troll. So you move into the new house. And at this house, many people have lived there before. For some reason, it never was a forever home. You know, maybe it's an apartment. Makes even more sense. A lot of people have lived there. It's been their main established residence, okay? So you're having maybe, say, 7, 10 people over the last 10 years, you know, 1 a year. Or, you know, say 7, right? Maybe somebody stayed there over a year. So 7 people in 10 years have all said that their home was at this apartment address that you now live. You're the 8th person, right? And you update your voting registry to say you now live there. The election comes. Willy-nilly California mail-in voting, and some other states I can't remember off the top of my head, I believe, just send mail-in ballots to the address willy-nilly, no updated verification of anybody's addresses, no double checking. Maybe there's a double address mistake. Maybe those people never updated their address properly. Maybe there's a glitch. But somehow you receive 8 mail-in ballots that could be filled out and returned. And you say, dang, I hate Donald Trump so bad, I do not want him to win the election. So I'm going to look up and see what the rules are on fraudulently filling out all these mail-in votes and sending them in, and nobody would actually be the wiser. They're not going to do any fingerprint forensics on these. I'm just filling out the vote, checking Joe Biden, I guess Kamala Harris. No. The stolen one was Joe Biden, right? So you're going, I guess I'm going to vote for Joe Biden, you know, put that in. And then, all the Democrats down. So you mark all the Democrats on the mail-in ballots, right? On all 8 of them. Because what you found out is that in California, there is no signature verification. Nobody needs an ID. And they actually accept smiley faces for signatures. Shit like that. Maybe lines, chicken scratch, yada, yada. So you notice that you probably aren't going to be caught. So you fill out all 8, voting for Joe Biden, and you send them in. How do you get caught? Tell me how you get caught and go to jail for committing a felony and voting illegally. How do you get caught? that shows up as, John Jingleheimer Schmidt, and Cindy Lou and David, Brown, all of those 7 things show up to be counted in the voting, have their names on them, have a chicken scratch signature, and the rules are, a deep piece of paper, I look at box checked and count it, that's it. No verification, authentication, registration, double checking, none of that shit, bro. So it's really not that hard. That is the entire point of the SAVE Act. All of our states are very independent. It is a constitutional republic. It is a grouping of states. And so they can do what they want, but there is some sort of a national federal oversight when we feel like things are egregious that maybe a state should and shouldn't do, right? And so this example right here is, how many people live in Illinois and California and New York, bro? And they got a whole lot of programmed propagandic, TDS patients there, right? And then they make rules where you don't need to very much verify votes. Anybody could put anything in, bro. So maybe if you wanted to stop the Republicans cheating in the elections and Russia tampering with everything to get Trump in or whoever the next Republican is, wouldn't we agree? That's what's so handicapped about the debate over the SAVE Act right now, bro. Wouldn't we agree that if both of us don't want the guy we don't like to be elected because some larger deep state apparatus, whether that was the American deep state, the Russian deep state, the Israel deep state, the Iranian deep state, you name it, the China deep state, don't forget about China. If any of those people could directly or indirectly nudge people, by either threat of force or financial gain, if any of those gigantic nation states could easily tamper with our election, wouldn't you agree that we should completely make it impossible for that to happen? Because if yes, then you agree with Trump, you agree with the conservatives, the Republicans, with me, and you agree that they should pass the Save America Act, because then it would stop fraud either way. I've never been into political parties before Donald Trump, dog. I literally would say, exercise your greatest right to not vote. They're still going to pick somebody, and there's an electoral college that barely anybody knows about. That's what I used to say and believe. Then Trump got in somehow, and it was like, oh shit, there's a crack in the system, bruh. There is a glitch in the matrix. I'm all in, dog. And so now if we can take this momentum, we might be able to build things a little bit differently, which would then perhaps, ideally be beneficial for us and for continuing the damn nation, bro. Go watch Young Washington, bro. You gotta remember what only happened freaking like 5 humans ago, bro. Bro, there's no way I'm on drugs and continue to talk and stay on my same train of thought for this long, Trolley. I think you, sir, have TDS. Trump's involved and he likes Trump, so there's no possible way I could think anything that he says is right. Oh, even though I don't think there should be corruption and voting fraud. Oh, jeez. Oh, my brain. I'm so shocked that your brain has not exploded, Charlie. Too much truth bombs for you. Yeah, man, you got to rail on the deep state. Deep state system's not good, right? They're the ones that do all the bad stuff, nah? Nah, man, I ain't got no statue behind me. There's no statues, bro. I'm over here, Charlie. I'm across the table, actually. I know you don't understand dimensional physics, but My uncle was one of the top professors at MIT. We get the point, brother. Thank you. Thanks, Trump. No problem, Scott. I didn't know if you wanted the whole story about how good at physics my family is. We understand the difference between behind somebody and across the table. I was going to educate the troll, but maybe it's not necessary. Yeah, no, I think it's good, bro. He's probably wouldn't understand it anyway, you know. Probably not. That's not right, bro. Oh man. So hopefully we can get a little bit of continued justice here out of the raid in Fulton County, man. 2 Atlanta FBI officials were this part was in the new latest raid that I just mentioned. We also have a little pinch of draining the swamp, because the swamp is, just the deep state. There it is again, Trolley. The deep state people that are working in the government that is just a regular job, but government. So they don't have a term limit. They don't have an election. They're just hired in, by whoever's in power at the time, whoever's the manager, whoever's the president. So 2 people were just fired from the FBI because they refused to cooperate with the FBI's Georgia 2020 election investigation per the MSNBC. Now, MS Now. Boom. Drain the swamp. Get rid of them. Raid Fulton County. Check out their shit. If you didn't do something sus, bro, then there's no reason to get in, completely investigated and, busted in on, right? Like, I don't know about anybody in the chat, anybody watching on the playback, right? Have you ever been busted in by the FBI and investigated and you've absolutely done nothing wrong? It happens. There's mistakes.
America great again. We will make America great again.
Absolutely. 10 o'clock. Oh, I guess I could do the me and the Trump scene over here. We could just fix this real quick. We'll do one of these, and then we'll fix it again when Dan's back on the show next week. We'll do one of these. There we go. But it breaks the wall if we do both of us. It's got to be more like, yeah, man, I'm over here. It's not a big deal. And then I'm over here and it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Oh, too much fun, right, Trolley? Damn, Trolley, you're my best friend, bro. You leave me a wall of text every 5 minutes, bro. I just wish you were more fun to talk to. Hey, man, you're like my number 2 fan, okay? Wilkinson beats everybody out, okay? My homie Audio Vent popped in today. He's up there, top 10. But you're number 2, buddy. Don't worry. We should get Kash Patel to investigate the deep state. That is what he's doing. I am confused, Trolley. Just as much as you. Yeah, Trolley's having a nice fun day, right? So Kash Patel actually is a stand-up guy, because when the hackers hacked into his personal Gmail and released it on the internet, did you even hear about that? Other than from my show? Bro, there was no big scandal. There was no big media coverage, bro. I couldn't believe it. And the only naughty thing they found, right, was he's got some porn accounts, right? Not a big fan of porn myself, and hey, probably not good for most of us humans, but pretty normal nowadays in modern culture. And they didn't even pull that, bro, and try to run that on the the FBI director is a porn addict. He's got a porn account in his email, make up some crazy spin to try and talk ish about him, right? I couldn't even believe they did that, bro. All they found were selfies of him smoking cigars in Cuba and going on vacations, looking like a dork, like most anybody taking selfies they didn't plan on sharing or something. He just looked like a regular bloke. Yeah, Trolley, you are my buddy. Wait, did Trolley say he's my buddy? Or you're saying that I was trying to explain to Trolley that he's my buddy? Wilkinson. No, you weren't joking, Trolley. You were talking for real. You love Kash Patel, and you love how much of a stand-up guy he is because that Gmail got leaked and not a dang thing came of it. You do know that I literally make this show every Monday, Trolley, by scouring the internet for information in and outside of the bubble, right? Well, you have confirmed and admitted that I am very smart, Trolley, so it's not horrible that people might get a small tidbit of their intel from me, weekly. Not that bad. Plus, it's the only way you get exposure. So actually, at this point, Trolley, you're invested in the success of the Truthercast because you would have to admit that you are an idiot and you've wasted the last 2 to almost 3 years of your life trying to troll in my show. If my show failed, that would make you a fool because it would have been a waste of your time. Now, on the other hand, if we were to blow up and succeed, because everybody made sure to hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and share this out to at least one person this week so we could increase the viewership, get more follows, and try to build a better news feed for everybody, right? If we all did that and we blew up and we were super big, viral, famous, you could be the most famous troll on the internet, bro. Hear me out. As long as you don't say stupid stuff, I keep you in the chat, right? Just like how we've been doing, right? But it's like a Howard Stern show, and you're the stupid person where we make fun of, and it'd be great. It's like, Meg, and Family Guy or something like that, right? So we get super duper popular, and then we just talk to you. You tell us what the liberal hive mind download is for the week. We break it down. We show how it's stupid, and we show you the truth and the facts about it. And everybody learns, bro. We all have a chuckle. You had a great day. You were highlighted. We talked about you. You can fill the ego with that. I think it's a fantastic outview, bro. So I wonder why you haven't shared the show to anybody, but I assume it's the narcissism because you're worried another friend of yours that's probably a TDS patient troll, right, might out-troll you in the chat. And then the deal with you getting paid as we get more viral goes out the window. So right now, if you share the show and get it more popular and we start making money and you show up every week, bro, I'll ethically feel obligated to pay you at least $20, right? Like $20 at minimum, right? If we were making plenty of money, I could afford new microphones, maybe a nice camera, like if I started paying myself or Dan, or, if I started paying Trump, right, I'd start feeling a little guilty that I wasn't paying you, bro, for showing up every week. Like, I would feel like that was just unethical. So think about it, try to be, more helpful, trolling in the chat, and we could go places, brother. We could go places. It'd be fantastic. Think about it. All right, next up. With Iran being stupid and still making attacks, it might finally be time for Trump admin to go ahead and clamp down on the Strait. We already went about that, right? With the bombing and stuff like that. But now, Mr. Trump here is talking about maybe possibly bringing up like 20% tariffs and stuff. And the America just now saying, you know what, screw it, bro. We got to do it. We're the guardian of the Hormuz Strait, bro.
Deal. It was a done deal. And then they broke it. They always break it. We've had 10 deals with these people. And so we're just going to hit them very hard. and we're gonna keep the strait, and we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the strait. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the strait, and we should be
guardian angel of the strait. That's a great idea. Oh, wait, I said that.
reimbursed for that. When we do that, we're going to be reimbursed because the other nations are very wealthy. They're on our side, and we can't be expected to do that for nothing, unlike we had for many years. You know, we guarded the strait for 50 years more, and we never got paid for it. They made all the money, and the United States was just, you know, not. They wouldn't. It's amazing. It's we guarded it for nothing, and now we're going to guard it, and we're going to get paid for guarding it.
Wait, hold on. What did the troll just say in the chat? He said we were going to party when I die. Oh, no, that's not good for the show. That's not going to be a good troll co-host, I don't think. I think actually, Scott, I don't know if you mind, but please allow me. Truly, you're fired. Dang. Dang, bro, you pissed him off, bro. Now he fired you. Now we have no freaking future together making an awesome show where you're a, you know, liberal troll and show up like the liberal on a Fox show where, you know, you just say stupid liberal stuff and then we explain how it's dumb and laugh at you and then you get paid because you show up and you're the, you know, you're the shtick, right? Golly. Dang, bro, that was fast. I act fast and I strike hard, Scott. I don't play around. That's why I had a entire show where I would fire the shit out of people. I'm so sorry. I swear I try not to do that on camera, but, you know, the troll just makes me so upset and I have way too much firing fun. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, I feel you, bro. Most def. Let's listen to the rest of what you were saying before. Hold on.
A lot of money, but we just want to be reimbursed for doing all of this, for putting our people in danger. But we're really not putting people, we're really saving people. Remember this, they killed 52,000 protesters so far, as of this moment.
Yeah, very, very good. I think we should definitely be the guardians of the Hormuz Strait until that becomes not advantageous or maybe too much of a drain on our budget. Then maybe I'll change my mind. But, you know, until then, you know, it is the anniversary of that day where that moron that probably trolls in some awesome people's chat, you know, not ours, right? A different troll, where that troll decided to go and take it upon himself to swing a bullet towards Mr. Trump's ear. And so, you know, it is a day that people like me, maybe people like you watching the show, you know, in the live chat down below now, or maybe dropping a comment, you know, on the replay. Maybe if you're watching this show and you're not, you know, foaming at the mouth like Trolley is, then this might be a day where you thank God that Donald Trump did not end his days 2 years ago this day, but instead will now go down in flipping history as the GOAT because this dude got up and was like, fight, 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 with blood dripping down his face, and pretty epic scene, man. And then goes on to get back in office and start fixing a whole bunch of shit, bro. You know, he might not fix everything, and we may not feel like too many things are different after his second term, which will suck because you need, you know, multiple presidents in a row to actually make big core change in a gigantic corporation that is America, in my humble opinion. But man, hopefully some of the stuff he's doing this second term will last for long. The Trump accounts things has been great, man. I've been talking to people that got their $1,000 from the government. Very strange, right? Government going to give you $1,000 for having a kid? Well, not strange if you're like used to having kids, I guess, because you get tax credits. But this is like $1,000 straight up, bro. So like, not weird if maybe you're used to getting like food stamps, but like it's $1,000 if you got a kid and they're like born after January 1st, 2024, I think it is. You can get a free $1,000 from the United States government in a Trump account that will compound interest and be worth like maybe $1 million when he's 18 or some shit. Let's just say 500,000 to be safe, right? If you put $5,000 in a month, which is the maximum, it'll be bigger. But, you know, put as much as you can in there. Start a Trump account today. There is a Trump app. If you are listening here for the first time and you've never heard about it, there's a Trump account app. It's super easy to make an account. You get a free $1,000 if your kid's young. You can still make it for older kids and benefit from the investment, you know, special deals that it's given out. I think it's like, you know, a little bit more compounding interest or something. And then it also has a little bit of financial education in the app. But you open up the app, make an account, and then boom, you're setting up a actual financial saving future for your kid, which is better than just going to the bank. Now, if you got money, it's probably not better than just, you know, investing in a stock portfolio or maybe Bitcoin, you know. Bitcoin very much on sale today, 61,000. That's crazy. Dude, that shit's going double, easy. As soon as somebody takes the foot off the brakes here on Bitcoin, you know, some of that institutional money, yeah, it's probably going to go to the moon, man. Where's the chart at? So the chart is 2029. Okay, so if Bitcoin is not poking around the $750,000 mark by 2029, this model that's been really, really accurate will be broken. Entirely broken. But we've got end of this year, 2027, to hit up to 750. You know, it might like go up and come down or something, right? But we've got to the end of this year to 2027, and this estimated model will be entirely on point. So everybody right now that's forgetting about Bitcoin because no one's talking about it, this is the time to buy. It's mega sale. So if it goes back up to 120,000, you doubled your money, right? If it is only 61,000 and it goes up to 750,000, that's more than 10x your money. Because it'd be like 600,000 for 10x. So, you know, hey man, not a financial advisor, you know, don't listen to me. I'm just some, you know, Trump supporter on the internet. But might want to open a Trump account. Might also want to open up a Bitcoin account for yourself, your kid, your wife, somebody, and you know, might want to buy some of that on sale. Shirley, you like crypto? You got some Bitcoin, Shirley? Who else got Bitcoin in the chat? Let me know. Let me know. One more thing I like to not forget on the anniversary of the attempted murder of you know, our Mr. Donald Trump is good old Mr. Corey, bro. That was the poor father and regular dude that yeah, comparatory. He was the dude that was taken out on accident because the troll with a rifle missed. So God bless that dude's family, because seemed like he was just a regular dude. And another fellow Trump supporter that made it to a rally and got literally front line right behind Trump. Seemed like a good idea that day, but he took the bullet instead of his wife, children, or another person in the crowd. And that is unfortunate, but it is what a man does. Shirley, would you have taken a bullet to save other people, or would you have dodged out of the way like a little bitch? I'm betting the latter. So God bless Mr. Corey, God bless Mr. Trump today, on that day that we remember the unfortunate events. Next up, man, I was saying, you remember those down soldiers, you know, that we had to track down over there in Iran? You know, those the ones we showed like the special video where like, you know, as a special transponder that like doesn't go off until rescue helicopter is like close, and they're programmed to like then activate, so that way, you know, some, you know, missing in action soldier is not found by the bad guys because they can see the signal that's, you know, SOSing or something like that. So remember that situation, right? Well, it seems Trump and the admin has not forgotten about the media company that leaked the story before we got them to safety, and it alerted the Iranians to get them to start trying to find the dude before we could. And so now, apparently, I think this is fully legit. I don't think this is like a BS one, like a BS post here. Apparently, man, Trump is telling the outlet that there's only 3 moves left. Option 1, name the leaker. Option 2, stay silent. Option 3, fight in court. And so if they name the leaker, you know, that means you got to expose the source. That career is going to be destroyed. So they have to break their, you know, journalistic integrity and roll on the source. And then that person's probably going to be reprimanded and or fired and or, you know, tried in court or something possibly. Because who the hell leaked that to the press? And then the press said, screw it, we're going to run the story for clout and, you know, tell the entire world that we have like United States military guys literally down and not found and not safe yet. A little bit of an a-hole move. Every future leaker inside the government just watched that happen. Outlet becomes the story instead of the news. So name the leaker. That would probably be my preferred easy way. Option 2, stay silent. You know, the person that did tell the story will go to jail if he doesn't say. National security override invoked. Reporters jailed on live television. First Amendment right of the decade. Now I think he's just, the poster might be just making up stuff here, man. I don't know. Option 3, fight in court. Years of litigation while Trump brands them, quote, aided and embedded Iran. Public opinion already decided. Missiling airman beats press freedom every time. Every outlet watching learns the same lesson either way. Either way, I most definitely think it should be publicized to try and, you know, maybe set an example of what not to do. You know, maybe like wait until they're safe and then run the story. I don't know how important it is to be first on a damn story nowadays, bro. Like, it ain't the old days. It's not like you're making like boo-foo money for being first on a story nowadays. How about tell the story more interesting? I don't know. Call me crazy. I'm not a news journalist, right? No, option 4. We're going to go to the media company that released it, and we're going to say national security, give it up or go to jail. That's exactly what I said, Scott. Actually, if you scroll down, you've got the clip of me saying it, and I could have just said it for you right there. Yeah, my bus, bro. Touche. You right.
As you probably know, we didn't talk about the first one for an hour, and then somebody leaked something, which we'll hopefully find that leaker. We're looking very hard to find that leaker, and talked about there's somebody missing.
I want to know if he said the options.
And we know who, and you know who we're talking about, because some things you can't do, because when they did that, all of a sudden, the entire country of Iran knew that there was a pilot that was somewhere on their land. Much more difficult operation, because a leaker leaked that we have one, we've rescued one.
Oh, I hate the leaks, man. The leaks in my apartment buildings, in my skyrise buildings, or the leakers now coming out of the deep state. I hate all the leaks. They're usually not good. There's not a lot of good leaks out there. Yeah, I feel that, man. I'm not a big fan of those kind of leaks. No, man, they ain't no good.
But there's another one out there that we're trying to get. So actually, the country, Iran, put out a major notice, you all saw it, offering a very big award for anybody that captures the pilot. So in addition to a hostile, very talented, very good, very evil military, we had millions of people trying to get an award.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. I definitely think that'd be a good set and example to, you know, lightly or maybe like, I don't know how severe, bro, but a little bit of a slap on the wrist to full punishment for whoever the hell leaked that intel, bro. I mean, whoever leaked it to the press, way more trouble, right? That's like 100% breaking the rules, dog. And the press, you know, maybe like slap on the wrist, like, yo, dude, Like, use your effing brain. And, like, you should not have rolled that story yet, but maybe they got bad intel, or at minimum, they would lie and claim that. It was our understanding that he was safe. Next time you're talking to a family member, you know, maybe a friend, maybe a troll, you know, in the comments, you know, maybe you're talking to somebody like that. And if they believe the negative spin of DOGE from the headline news, you know, let's see what Shirley thinks. You know, he probably believes the lies and complete deceit. You know, I think you should show him this clip. And you'll be able to pull this clip up on the receipts link in the description box down below after the show. Bloginator wasn't working today, so I'll fix it later and get that receipts blog up so you can find all of the links to everything we talked about on the show here for you to check out more, take a look at, but also so you could share it out on your timeline to help people, you know, find out about something that you got interested in during the show. Or maybe, like this one, somebody you know that has to see this clip, man. A DOGE member reveals the Department of Education has a $4 billion COVID fund. That's a lot of effing money, bro. $4 billion. Like, no wonder why we have $40 trillion debt. Handicap, bro. $4 billion of a COVID fund. And people were taking that money and using it to rent out Caesar's Palace and stadiums for parties. So, didn't all go to COVID stuff. Strange, right? A quote from this. And so the one change that DOGE made was we had the simple requirement that if you draw down money, you must first upload a receipt. Pretty simple, right? Also, pretty duh. How in God's name was it not like that before? Shit, bro. If I had one employee and I gave that dude a credit card, that dude better be giving me a receipt for every effing transaction. God dang. Because you guessed it, as soon as they implemented the policy of requiring uploaded receipts, nobody drew any money no more. All of a sudden, nobody needs no money. Very, very interesting. This dude in the background here on the right, bro, that dude was awesome. We covered a podcast he did with Chris something. Shoot, I keep forgetting that guy's name. But he did a podcast, and he was explaining his role in the United States Treasury Department. He's like the head, and then that oversees the IRS. But, bro, stories he was telling were like everything we were afraid of, man. IRS is bloated, needed to get cleaned out employment-wise and technology-wise. As even more important, the IRS is a 90% technology company, and only 10% of the time is actually collecting money. Figure that out, right, folks? Crazy.
So actually, a lot of great work at the Treasury this week. One of the crazy things with regards to the Treasury is that when a payment is made, and the computers at the Treasury actually pay about $5 trillion per year, like crazy amounts, there was formerly not a budget code on there. So if a payment was made, you didn't know actually what it was for. It could have been for anything. Yeah. There was a $4 billion COVID fund in the Department of Education, and there was no receipts required, so people could just draw down on it. And when people looked into it, this wasn't us, this was before us.
Yeah, if you're really into this stuff, I'm pretty sure this is a recycle post, but still think it's important to highlight and remind people. And if you have a friend or family member or troll that still thinks DOGE was useless, send him this.
They found that money was being used to rent out Caesar's Palace for parties, rent out stadiums, etc. And so the one change that DOGE made with the Department of Education is we had the simple requirement that if you draw down money, you must first upload a receipt. That was the only change that was made. You must upload your receipt. And upon doing so, yes, nobody drew down any money anymore.
Yes, but we didn't say that we'd check the receipt. You could send a fake receipt. You could send a picture of your dog. Anything. Anything. And but as soon as we asked for anything at all, suddenly the requests were like, oh, we don't need it anymore. Huh, that's interesting.
They were renting Caesar's Palace.
Yes, they were like basically partying on the taxpayer money.
Stadiums.
Yes.
Lease.
Which maybe sometimes that could be legitimate, you know, maybe you're having like a government work party or something, but you know, obviously the way they're, you know, portraying it is that it was in some egregious nature. But then obviously the part of when we asked for a simple receipt and then they could still have their party, all of a sudden they didn't want the money. That's pretty obvious there.
Leasing stadiums.
Leasing stadiums.
For what?
For parties, basically.
For parties.
Yes.
That's a big party.
It's a big party.
You know, networking parties are important too, you know? So, like, you know, that could be legitimate, right? Like, I believe in the ballroom thingy at the White House, right? Like, networking parties, hosting, you know, foreign, you know, elite people that we got to do business with and shit. Nice, fancy ballroom that's safe, secure at the White House, and it looks cool, could fit a lot of people. Makes sense to me. You know, seems legitimate. Okay. Maybe these were legitimate. But again, why wouldn't they have, you know, why wouldn't have they, you know, just given the receipt and then explained why it was a legitimate party?
You'd think if you were stealing, you'd start small.
They do start small. But then what happens is over the years, so generally the fraud starts out small and they try to hide it. But then year after year, if nobody stops the fraud, it gets more and more brazen. And every year it gets bigger until they're literally renting out stadiums. Like
what's that, $1 million to rent out a stadium?
Fraud in flagrante delicto, okay?
Just like the last 3 years of Trolley's head, his ego has seemed to have inflated over the years. I see a correlation of fraudsters and trolls. That's very interesting. But that is a good clip to have in the bank, man. And don't forget, man, if you're looking for something, you can go to the website, truthercast.com. You can Google search it, pulls it right up. Got some good SEO going, right? And you can search the website. I put some special, you know, searchable code in there that makes it better than a regular WordPress website, right? But you can go to the website and search for the thing that you're trying to think of and get a clip to share somebody or show somebody you're talking to prove what you're talking about. So the truthercast.com website is also a treasure trove of receipts and links and clips that you can easily pull up. So don't forget to use that, man. It's like you know, non-censor curated Google, you know. You just head over to the truthercast.com website, search it first. That'll help us with the SEO. Truthercast website, that should pull it right up. Type that in, pull it up, search for your thing, copy, paste, send it, click, show it, you know, super duper simple. I try to make it really easy. Next up here, man. Yeah, this one's like a, you know, bummer topic, right? We're talking about homes and how we won't ever own anyone, right? And you do got to kind of make it like a full 10, 15 minutes. And I don't think we need to subject everybody to that. If you're into this one and you like the Tim Pool flow, I'm a big fan of the Timcast IRL. I agree with almost everything the frickin' dude says or his takes on shit. You know what I mean? So I'm a big fan of the Timcast IRL. Go and follow them on the YouTube and the Rumble. If you're here on the Rumble, they are on Rumble. But man, his point about how the generational demographics are about to break down is bleak, but super interesting. My TLDR from memory, my quick summation of it. It's really tough right now. The houses have peaked, right? This is the peak of all recent history of home prices. We're all bitching and moaning. It's very difficult to afford a home. You know, wages didn't go up, houses went up, but there's going to be a reset because boomers own 1 to 3 homes on average, okay? Let's just say they have 2. They pass away and the kids get the homes. Will they move into the homes or stay into their home that they're already living in and building a life? Maybe they got kids of their own. Maybe they move into one of the homes. Maybe, you know, all the kids don't take all the homes. So they got to sell one or both homes, right? As the boomers start passing away more and more in the coming years, there's going to be a massive flood of home inventory. Now, Gen X is like the same size as the boomer generation, or like slightly less. Millennials is more or less than Gen X. And then Gen Z is like half of millennials. And then Alpha is like half of Gen Z, something like that. Someone check me on those numbers, right? So just think about this very simple. If you're having a tough time getting a house right now, all you got to do is keep busting butt, saving your money. You know, we still got to beat inflation and rising costs and yada, yada, yada. But when a large amount of boomers are passing away, there'll be so many homes available. And if our next generations are less population, there is less demand for more supply. So we kind of hit a wall, we hit a ceiling where we built all these homes and all the homes were bought, and it's tough now, right? So a lot of demand, low supply, price go up. Well, in the not so distant future, it's probably going to get a little bit crazy and the housing market's going to completely crazily crash. And, you know, that it could hold off until I'm even like, you know, another 20, 40 years older. And it's like, I already figured out how to buy a home or never could. And, you know, still can't. But, you know, maybe this is better news for the Gen Zers. I don't know, man. Like Gen X probably got homes already and old millennials or something like that. But young millennials, Gen Zers might have a hope still, you know, so keep living with the rents or, you know, get buying that apartment and the houses will come. But this was very interesting to me, and I'd highly recommend you watch this if you're into this stuff. Or as usual, share it over to somebody that you might know would be interested in this stuff. Here's a little sample of the intro, I guess.
Let's do this. Let's jump to the story from CNBC. No. This is on point. This is on point. Trump says he won't sign housing bill, which would become law automatically. So the story that we've been getting is that Donald Trump is threatening. He said, "I'm not going to sign this housing bill. It's supposed to lower housing costs because he wants the SAVE Act passed." And it's tough. I want the SAVE Act passed a lot, but I know that the housing bill is actually going to help a lot of people and could be really, really good for the economy if young people can now afford to buy houses. However, there's a lot of challenges with this, and I think the reason Trump really doesn't want to sign it has nothing to do, well, I shouldn't say nothing, but largely isn't about the SAVE Act, because it will become law anyway. I think Trump doesn't want...
Unless he vetoes it.
Then they have another session, and they've got a veto-proof majority already.
2/3, okay.
So he can postpone it. The thing is, this bill bans institutional investors from buying properties, which is the...
that sounds pretty interesting to me. I'm like, maybe this is where I heard that from, or I mentioned it earlier, that Trump was trying to leverage the Housing Bill Act thingy to get the SAVE Act passed.
Probably the only reason houses have maintained the value that they have for so long, which is bad for young people and bad for everything. But we also have another problem. There are no young people. And when this happens, it is going to be massively deflationary. So if you're holding stocks, you're cooked. But cash is king at that point.
I mean, it'll be a great buy. It'll be a great opportunity to buy for people who are.
It will, but here's what's going to happen.
Yeah, bro, stocks, and I don't even know if Bitcoin will like survive that thing. Like, you know, it'll survive, but stocks and, you know, crypto, like more intangible thingies, will probably lose massive value, right? Like if there's a mega crash in the housing market, right? Yeah. You know, like holding houses isn't going to be like your whole entire net wealth either, you know, like they talk about it in this clip, I believe. But, you know, like boomers, they believe that their wealth is basically centralized around the home. And it's like kind of true in our current, you know, form of society, but not exactly, you know, like actual real tangible assets or, you know, things that help people in the world, like businesses or products and shit like that. You know, that's more recession proof, you know, than just, you know, holding the asset thingy or the more digitally intangible stuff, I feel.
It's a great generational transfer of funds.
And there's going to be, every homeowner will be underwater. It's going to be like 2008.
Every homeowner with a loan, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If you don't have a loan, you have nothing to worry about.
Oh, yeah, sure. Rich people are going to be fine. I ain't sweating. I ain't
It was the
sweating
same thing during the
nothing.
Great Depression. It was all the time.
I don't have a mortgage, so I'm like, okay, I'm happy.
All the rich people in the room.
During the Great Depression, rich people got way richer because they just bought up all the crashed stocks. But the people that had borrowed on margins and invested on
it's a great
loans
opportunity.
basically got
It's a
screwed.
great buying opportunity.
Like anybody that took out a loan on their house value, that's another one, you know, that might screw you, right? Didn't that happen kind of during COVID? But then the housing prices went up. When did that happen recently? Was that COVID?
For anybody who
or like before COVID?
Who has any kind of cash flow. Like,
Well,
there's a lot of dry powder out there right now with youth.
This is the point.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a good opportunity for our generation and above, like below. Anybody under 40 is going to benefit from this.
But so there's going to be a massive. but understand there's going to be a lot that happens around housing. So boomers have all of their wealth and a lot of their value tied up in properties, which will get wiped out.
Great. I'm going to become the next slumlord.
But here's the thing. This is going to happen no matter what. When boomers are at the mortality shelf, so they're not 80 years old, they're starting to die. And I mean, with all due respect, I'm not trying to be morbid, but they are, because...
Right, then he's going to explain what I was explaining. So if you're into this stuff, man, I thought it was a really good watch. It's a good thinker piece, and also micro, you know, canary coal mine, get prepared for this, you know. Same story as every day, man. Work your butt off, save your money, enjoy your life, but be frugal. And, you know, build assets and resources that are more valuable and can, you know, withstand fluctuations in the market. And you'll be totally fine. Keep stacking and you'll be all good, man. The numbers like, you know, the Trump account stuff I was saying, you know, or, you know, just general investment, it's like ridiculous. It's like if you put away like 10% of your you know, income for 20 years and invested in just the ding dong simple dimple S&P, you basically have a retirement account, you know, like you're probably going to be able to live off that. 10% of your salary, 20 years, S&P, maybe a few other intelligent, you know, avenues, stock market wise or some other investment strategy vehicle, probably going to be fine. So dollar cost average, man. It's about time in the market, not timing the market, people say. I was back from my internet trading education company days. I learned that one. Next up here, we've got a James O'Keefe mention. He's been kind of quiet. They haven't been like popping up mega viral exposés lately. Maybe it was time to lay low a little bit, or maybe they're working on a big project. But we've got the James O'Keefe approval here of Nick Shirley's latest drop, that one that I was mentioning before, that we went over already. Uncovered the $190 million in fraudsters, New York, elderly Koreans and Chinese. Play Pong and Do Tai Chi. It was Do Tai Chi, so English, then Chinese. I thought the Do might be Chinese, so it was Do. Anyway, this was me just mentioning it earlier in the week and highlighting that Mr. James O'Keefe is a big fan of the Nick Shirley, man. And James O'Keefe, I agree with many of his takes and opinions, so he's a fan of Nick Shirley. My gosh, how are we not? Right? Investigative journalism, man. It's the checks and balance of American government. Like there's checks and balances like in the government, right? But for like the overall of America, the people in the journalism were supposed to be the balance, the checking and the balancing of the big government, So I think some of us American citizens have forgotten that, and instead they just kind of roll over and say, oh man, keep giving me that free money that scratches my belly. Just do whatever you want, big daddy government. Not around here. Not our kind of thing, right? Right? Call me crazy. And then, more news going on all through the week of Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin court case, So a lot of that stuff is going on. I saw today somewhere it said the case is over. So was final judgment already determined? But it's very interesting that now we have a lot of this security footage showing a lot of the story that was coming out that people were calling poo-poo. You know, and I think it was because we were hearing about these videos. We just weren't allowed to see them yet, right? But we've got clearly some guy limping around like maybe there's a boom boom stick in his pants, right? And then this poster was saying, it's time for Candace Owens and everyone else like her to delete your accounts and never show your faces again. Because basically this whole entire court case so far is, it's pretty cut and dry, dude. So, you know, hey, it's either cut and dry, this guy was bad guy, he did it, that's clearly him, or holy moly, this is another whack-a-noodle, high-level, difficult to believe deep state nudging where that's still the guy, but he was nudged to do it, you know? So like either he did it completely on his own, or he did it, and there's some holy crap deep state conspiracy conglomeration that somehow forced, paid, or guided him, or nudged, or tricked, or manipulated, or programmed him to then go commit this act and remove Charlie Kirk from the chessboard of modern American politics. You know, that's the two options, right? And you know, in base reality, you know, simple, straightforward, you know, how the world generally works court-wise, seems like he's definitely guilty. So he will be going down as the actual perp or the pawn. Either way, does seem like he did it. How would we find the latest info on this? Charlie Kirk case. That's from like the 9th. Yeah, bro. The trans boyfriend or something. Bro, this guy's doing more work to like, you know, seal Tyler Robinson's fate more than even like the liberals are, bro. This guy straight up just was like, yeah, man, he did it. He called me. He was crying. He was like, I'm so sorry I did this. It was a damning testimony. I don't see anything else from today. Weird. I saw something that the case was over already, and I was like, oh snap, maybe that was inaccurate. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out next week. You know, it looks pretty clear cut. You know, so I'm kind of assuming we know the outcome. But I don't know, man. The dude did it either way. So even if it was a conspiracy theory, I feel like there needs to be justice for the act. And there needs to be an example made that, you know, that's there is a line. There is like a too far. And, you know, just like going out and harming people to like the highest of degree should generally be 10 out of 10 not recommended. Should be, you know, not encouraged, should be lessened. Call me crazy. Call me crazy, Scott. That's an absolute tragedy what happened to Charlie Kirk. I can't even believe that I had a scenario just like that myself. And I was so blessed to walk away from mine. But Charlie Kirk was almost kind of like a son to me. And it's very sad, very sad. So I would be a little bit biased to say that I am on the side of justice needing to be served, where it looks like Tyler Robinson is likely to be the one who committed the terrible act and should be going to prison and maybe possibly even suffering the highest degrees of punishment for such a horrible offense, which I do believe over there in, where is it? Oh, Utah, I believe, right? Is it Utah? I believe in Utah, the death penalty is very possible, and even firing squad is a thing. Somebody told me, people were telling me there was firing squad over in Utah. So we'll have to see how that comes out. But it was a terrible tragedy what happened to Charlie Kirk. I would agree, bro. Terrible, absolutely terrible, man. I don't even give a crap if you disagree with that guy. He wasn't doing anything absolutely insanely abhorrent, egregious, like absolutely crazy. He did less bad for his enemies, the left, than Barack Obama did for his enemies, the right, but then also the left. Because the left was affected also by Obamacare, right? Which I believe Trump's trying to do another thing that's going to like stop the leftover remains of Obamacare, like some negative aspect. I forget. It was like a quick glancer. When it happens, I'll cover it. I try not to waste our time with, the speculative news drops or something, a few here and there that are interesting or more likely to come of something. But I try to wait until something actually happens, But man, had to get Trump in there for the thumb, just me. And had to wear the Trump 1 shirt for the anniversary. Happened to be, podcast night. But that's all I got for you, folks. Y'all in the live chat got anything else? What'd you think I may have missed from last week? Or was it a slow news week? And that was basically the main pieces. Anything left of importance that I may have missed? I don't have Dan to banter with while I wait a little bit for the YouTube or the Rumble lag to see what your responses are. So I guess I'll just talk like Trump in a circle about something completely not very important, but something that would maybe fill the space of people not talking. And there needed to be words to be filled in the... Dang, maybe I figured out why I like Trump, dog. Dang. Figured it out. I'll talk for absolutely no reason to fill space all the time. So he's one of my people, man. It's just... got respect for the guy. He's so good at continually talking in a loop to fill space, bro. Those rallies were impressive. It was like 3 hours of him talking about important shit, but on a loop. They like sprinkle in something new every like couple rallies, but man, nothing else from Wilkins saying, all right, I guess we'll just go ahead and land the plane, folks. So, like I said, if you were here through the whole show, if you made it to the end of the show, thank you so much for hanging out, spending your time. I very much appreciate you. If you haven't signed up for the Rumble account yet, you should definitely do that so you can hit that thumbs up on the way out. Maybe hit the subscribe so you get notified next week. Send it on over to one person. I don't think we got, I think it was 136. No, was it 135 last week? We got one follower. If we can get at least, 5-10 followers a week, that'd be good growth for the year. That'd be way cool. And if you would like to support the show, you can hit that join button down below and make a one-timer. Make a one-timer donation to help keep the lights on. Or you could join the Truther Tribers Primo Squad, where, there you can get extra bennies of hanging out in the locals community, where I post throughout the week, and that's where I pull up all this stuff to go over on the show. But if you join the Truther Tribers to help support the show monetarily, you can then comment and post in there, And as long as it's not like completely ridiculous, I'll just leave it up. I'm the only one censoring in there, really. It's a semi-private, anybody can find it, but hey, you got to get in there. Free to join. You can join and get free views and follow and comment. No, I think you got to pay to comment. You follow along for free in the locals and see these posts early ahead of time. And then if you would like to add to the commentary or post stuff that you find throughout the week you think needs more awareness, because that's how people find the realization, put it in there by joining the Truther Triber Squad. Keep the lights on around here. I'm really getting sick of these microphones, so I definitely need to turn the dials up on, asking for donations, because we don't make any money around here, folks, so I already put a lot of money into the show, but we've used these suckers for like 2-3 years, so maybe it's time for a upgrade on the microphone. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hate spending money, But They work fine with the one dude show, probably, right? Ain't no reason to echo, yada yada, but the two-man show is not so good. So join that Truther Tribers Primo Squad. And then if you have a computer, sign up.toleratetech.com. If you got a business, scalartoolbox.com. Links in the description box down below. And then when I fix the Bloginator, I'll have that receipts webpage up so you can pull up everything we talked about this week and share those out as well, man. But thank you so very much, everybody. Y'all have a great night. I'll see you next week. Peace out.
Oh.